Welcome back, guys. Okay, so the only second video I have, and again, there's only gonna be two today because I'm gonna move your news releases and your newsletters into Friday's module. So I'm gonna do that tonight, but it'll be there for you for Friday. So I wanted to touch base on your homework assignment. So your homework assignment says you're gonna start on the 4th, I think December 4th, I had you pick out that product. So again, we're gonna use that. I know that you just heard that in the last video. You're gonna use that for your sales presentation and your press kit. You're gonna develop all of this around that particular product and that company. So we already finished part 1, and I'm looking at the sales presentation stuff that I submitted to you in your Canvas under the course information and course project tab. So go find that. We already did part 1. You already got 10 points for that, for just telling me what product you chose to really research and explain this session. So you already got that portion. So we're gonna split up part 2 over a series of probably 4 or 5 different classes. So we're gonna take this nice and slow, and I'm gonna give you all the points throughout the term. So this 100 points is literally going to be split up. Tonight we're going to do section 2. So we're going to do part 2, section 1 and 2. We're going to do your industry information and your company information. So obviously you've chosen a product. I didn't ask you to create a product. What I want you to do is choose a product. Say one of my favorite products in the world is Pepsi. I'm a Pepsi, and most of you have had me in class before. I've kind of utilized that for my chosen ones, simply because I've done a lot of research on PepsiCo. I had to do my thesis for my MBA on PepsiCo, so I know a lot about them. So say if I chose to sell Pepsi, and again, this is business to business application. So what this second part, the first and second section in that part are asking me industry information. What does that mean? So if I chose Pepsi-Cola, I'm obviously looking for the soft drink industry. So you have to really look at and utilize what type of industry are you looking at. If you chose a food product, it might be a restaurant industry if it's a product that you're selling to restaurants. If it is a product that you're selling to grocery stores for end users or end consumers, then that would be the grocery industry or the food industry. So you really have to contemplate and broaden up your product just for a second and look, what type of industry am I in? Am I in retail? Am I in sales? Am I in food, drugs? I mean, you might be doing a prescription drug. You might be doing a product like Pepsi, which is a beverage industry. I want you to look at the history of the industry overall. I want you to go out and do some Google research for this. So my homework assignments are going to be quite lengthy. My in-class activities, I think, are kind of short. So I've set up a lot of extra time that you can be doing a lot of this research and investigation for the sales portion of this. So I just want you to do some basic Google searches out there and say, okay, what is the history of the industry that I am speaking about, that I've chosen? What is the size of the total industry in terms of sales? Is the industry going? This is literally, again, I would go in, if I was choosing Pepsi as my product, and I would go out, and I'm not looking at Pepsi, remember, if I chose them as my product and then I'm looking for the industry, I would go out and do a Google search of total soft drink sales in the US, because I'm looking at the industry overall, not just my chosen product first. In this first portion, it says industry information. So I'd be looking at the soft drink industry overall. So just do a quick Google search for whatever industry you are in. What is the size of the total industry in terms of sales? What advancements have been made in the industry in recent years? So again, if I'm looking at Pepsi, I could say, what type of advancements have they made overall? Not just Pepsi, but the overall industry. We might look at things like their packaging, that we have tried to go more consumer and user friendly. We've tried getting rid of the rings in the cans of Pepsi, on the cans of Pepsi, holding them together, because we know it does damage. We have tried to create plastics that disintegrate rather than sit in landfills for thousands of years. Things like that. We might talk about the advancements of the plastics, of the packaging. I know that PepsiCo in general owns a lot of subsidiaries. They own Tropicana actually, and Tropicana has changed its packaging because the wax liners that it used to have for like the orange juice, the paper, waxy paper that it used to have, they sat in landfills and didn't disintegrate for a long time. So they went through and changed their products to actually make that stuff rot faster, to actually disintegrate, and to actually not sit around in landfills for years on end. So those are just the 3 simple questions for that section for the industry. That's all I want you to do is go out and do some quick researches on it. The second portion is the company information. So again, now I'm going to hone it down. I looked at the industry information, the overall industry of soft drinks. Now I'm looking for PepsiCo, because my company, if I chose the product of a bottle of Pepsi, then PepsiCo would be my company. So I would look at the company information, and it basically asks you for basic information that you would research anyways for any sort of product. It says, what is the history of your company? Again, I'm just reading this through for you. What is the history of your company? What major accomplishments has the company experienced in recent years? Give me the last 10, 20 years. That's recent. What is the size of your firm in terms of number of employees? What products or services does your firm offer in its line? List several reasons why customers should buy from this firm. So again, the last one's pretty much your opinion, but the rest of them are out there. I promise you, all this information is out there. Again, if I took PepsiCo, it's pretty much a global company. They are an international company. So I would go back and look at the beginnings of Pepsi. And the beginnings of Pepsi, I already know that information because I did a lot of, again, I did a massive research paper for my MBA, and I learned that PepsiCo came, I think it was 1868, from Caleb Bradham was the creator. He was a pharmacist, and he made it for indigestion. He made the concoction Pepsi for indigestion, and then people came for the taste of it, believe it or not, and he made it into a soft drink, and it was successful. Then he went bankrupt. He literally went bankrupt, and the company went into new hands, and then it grew into the company that we know nowadays. It actually almost went bankrupt again and switched hands again, and then grew into the PepsiCo that we know and some of us love today. So just tell me a little bit about the history of the company. How long have they been in business? Who created them? Where they come from? What city, state? Give me an interesting story or two if they've been around for 100 or so years. Just explain the history. Again, you're going to be shaping all of this information for a 3 to 5 page paper, which should not be very hard to do because there's a lot of content here. So again, the first section is simply your industry information overall. The second section is the company information. So for homework, that's really all I'm asking you to do is go out and look at the industry information first, and then go out and look at the company information for whatever product you chose. So we will utilize that later. So that is it for your sales portion, which is homework number 4, due Monday, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.